go ahead and ask him to lead here. He's leading quite well. And we're just gonna kind of do little obstacles. I wanted him to go around the barrel, not between me and the barrel. He kind of wanted to do that, so that's why I kind of jumped there. It was like, oh, that's not a good idea. But I kind of want him to just kind of touch the barrel if he wants to, because he's really not afraid of it, because he's he's right on top of it. He's kind of using his like a little mounting block. Sometimes he'll do that. He'll get like really close to it. See if he'll go over the little jump here. Very graceful. Knocks it over. But I don't care if it's not perfect. I just want him trying and thinking and doing stuff. So I love this. I love that he's willing to go over new things and try new obstacles. So I'm really happy with that. He's getting ahead of me here with the leading. Don't love that. Just gonna put him back and get him focused on here because then I try to put him back and he's like, lunge. I could lunge. So he's just confused. It's all right. Because I am asking him for multiple different things. I'm just gonna try to give him my hand target, and there he goes, and he just follows me, and he's back to his leading position. And he's totally fine. So he just gets confused sometimes, no big deal. But I want to pay attention when he is getting confused because I want to minimize those. So here he went over the ground pole, super good. I click as he goes over. I'm gonna feed him his treat. So when he makes those mistakes, I'm not going to worry about them too much, but I am going to take note and remember, okay, he struggled with this. How can I make it more clear? Is this cue too similar to another cue? Like, why is he being confused? So all those are really important. So we're just kind of hanging down at the scary end of the arena. So this is the end that's farthest away from the gate. His pasture is parallel to this, so it shouldn't be that scary. But, you know, horses in arenas sometimes it's scary. And there's some like weeds and stuff back here, so I want to take him for a little walk back here, make sure he gets lots of treats and rewards for being back here, and just good things happen. So I am walking between him and the fence, so if he were to spook away from the fence, that's fine. He can run away if he wants. Um, but he's not going to jump into me when I'm in that position. So it's just important to position yourself and take the time to think through those situations because they can happen and you don't want to get between your horse and something scary. You don't want to get on the other side of your horse and something scary. I want to get between them because then it gives them a little bit of like confidence that you're closer and then they could follow you and then you're not going to get spooked on or run over. So he's a little wiggly here. He's just again offering behaviors. So I'm trying to just like move him from my space a little bit, and he's like, "Oh, I need to back way up." And you go over here, and we're still working on the leading. I didn't teach it the best. Like he has pretty good skills on the lead rope. His liberty skills aren't great. This like between these two poles is actually quite good. But as far as that goes, I wasn't super clear with him that he's needs to be in this position and then he's still going to get a treat if he's away from me and he just wants to get in front of me and cut me off. So I could have taught it better and used the round pen, but I didn't. As you can see, it's not in my arena right now, so I didn't use it in the beginning like I should have. So that was kind of the main reason of why that's happening and kind of what's going on with that. But he's looking quite good. We did make these flower boxes and he's not too worried about these. He did send around them and then just kind of using them as like a little barrier here and just kind of petting on him and stuff. These actually would have worked really good as a barrier, like a protected contact barrier, better than my mounting blocks, either one of them. That was a decent backup, and I want to be really clear with my hand target, like this is where I want you to go. And he has that habit of getting in front of me, and part of that was where I was feeding him, and part of that was I wasn't setting him up. I wasn't feeding him as much when he was just standing next to me. So I have a lot of things going on with that you definitely want to be aware of and not repeat. This looks a lot better. I love this part right here where he's separate from me. We got like that foot or so of space between us. He's waiting. He's nice and straight. But part of that is like how he's getting a little bit closer with his head. I was feeding a little too close and then he got that bend and he wanted to kind of get in front of me. So, but this looks really good right here. I like that. And it kind of worked out for the camera because he's really close to the camera. So just going to change sides. I want to lead him from the other side. I want to make sure he can lead from both sides because just my own tendency is just be on their left side because it's just, how you do it. So I just end up there kind of. So I have to really make time and force myself to be on that right side and do a lot of work from the right side just so he's pretty balanced. But he looks pretty good. because I really don't want him to be confused when I'm on his right side. So I want to make sure he's pretty equal on pretty much everything that I do with him. So his body control is looking nice. Um, he'll yield his hindquarters off of just a look. I love that, so I don't really need to do a whole lot of that. I'm already using that exercise like in the lunging and with the sending and other exercises, so I don't really need to do a lot of specific hindquarter yielding. So I just put his halter on, so I just cut that out because it's just I'm just putting a halter on. It's nothing crazy. And then we're gonna ask him to lunge out here, and he looks fantastic. So I purposely am lunging him in the middle, away from the obstacles and close to the gate. So I didn't want to go in the middle of the arena, and I didn't want to go all the way to the back of the arena because I want him to be somewhat comfortable since this environment is new to him. So I want to make sure that he's feeling safe, and especially for his first few times here, I don't want to wander to the back and then put too much pressure on him. He doesn't want to go back in there, which happens a lot just with everyday riding and training and stuff. So I always want the arena to be a positive place and where fun things happen, and it just is really helpful when you're using positive reinforcement for sure. So I'll go ahead and ask him to send off the other way. He looks fantastic compared to his last like lunging video in the round pen. Like he had these pieces, but we're really putting them all together here. So I'm really, really happy with this. He's getting that like send out cue where I have like both hands up to kind of push him over. I love the halt there where he just stopped without doing his hindquarter yield because I do want him to stop without yielding to me. So he's stopping off of a voice cue. So I'm starting to build that in for future under saddle work. So we're adding pieces to it. So it did seem slow at times, but we're adding things to it, especially now, like much more quickly than we have in the past. I love this. I love how relaxed he is. And we didn't practice a lot in here. You've seen every video that we've done in the arena. So, and because I'll skip some of the round pen ones just because it's kind of repetitive at times, but I've posted every single arena video with him. Love the hindquarter yield. He's really soft. He's really willing. Going through the turn there. He's just trying to figure it out. That looks absolutely beautiful. I love all of that. I love his bend. I love where his head's at and his neck's at. That looks fantastic. Awesome. And I kind of yield his hindquarters and then let him follow me. This looks fantastic. Now we're just going to do a little bit of sending between the flower boxes. And I want to make sure I give him plenty of space in the beginning because he's a little hesitant. He's like, not so sure about that one. And he gets a little confused too, but he's trying. So he's like trying to figure out what it is that I want him to do. So I'm just kind of trying to set him up here so he can go between. There you go. And he's kind of straightening out. So I let go of the rope. There he's kind of straightened out. So I let go. Just little baby steps. He's just going a couple of steps at a time. He gets worried when he has to go between me and things, but then he figured it out. So it was just more of a conversation there. It could be like, okay, you know what, you'd like you to go this way. And he's like, I don't know if I can. Like, can you just take one step? And then he took one step and we just kind of played with it like that. There's no need to rush him through it. It should look like that in the beginning for sure. Or anytime the horse is worried. So that looked pretty cool. And then I'll send him back the other way. He was super responsive to that, super light. And he's already done it, so he was like, okay, I can do that. For some reason, he really wants to back up a lot today. I probably had been working on it before, so he wants to repeat something that's been reinforced a lot. But I love he went through there, and he kept a nice bend in his body as he went. And he kind of thought about going back through it again, which I like, because he was a little hesitant at first, so that's a good sign. Because really, especially for Castor, if he does it once, he's like, okay, I got this. Like if you explain it to him once correctly, he understands it. So Atlas takes a few more times, but the great thing about Castor is he figures it out pretty fast. So send him back through. I do need that pausing time there because I don't want him to get ahead of me and just go through all the time and not have a really good stand. So I wanted to just let him stand there, reward him for standing. So for some reason, it's scarier this way, and he had that same behavior in the round pen, so I'm going to back up, give him a little bit more space. I'm not going to increase the pressure, I'm just going to wait, and then I'm going to, once he I'm going to release once he comes forward, give him a treat for just taking that step forward. So for some reason, going through to the left is going to be odd for him. I don't know what it is about that, but it might be I send him there out of habit and then he's okay going back the other way because he's already done it once. But once he goes through, he's cool. So it's just that beginning of going through. Maybe he's like, this is too close, I can't go through there, kind of a thing. So it's just interesting to notice and to pay attention to. And really, if you look at things like that versus this is a problem, why won't he do it? You're going to be a lot better off. So let him stand because I definitely want that stand behavior again. So you always have to reinforce an opposite behavior. So I want him to go through the gap, the little space there between me and the flower boxes, but I need to reinforce the opposite behavior, which is just standing and waiting for me. So, because I don't want to come near the flower boxes and my horse just starts circling. You want the horse to stand and wait until you ask and then stop at the end. So you have to reinforce opposite behaviors all the time. And that took me a minute to get to in the beginning too, because I kind of was experimenting and I should have probably done some more research before I started practicing it too much. But really they're doing pretty well. So I just trying to kind of help you guys out, so, to make all the mistakes that I did. But this looks quite good. So I'm just going to let him end it for that day. And I'm still unclipping the lead rope first and then popping off the halter. But he was fantastic. He did all kinds of new things. And we put all the things he's been learning together.